this is Mackenzie. Hey, this is Owen. Don't forget to like our show and subscribe.
If you want to continue the conversation from the show, check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/wearetheADHDfamily. Or if you're on Spotify, answer the poll question. The episode starts at 1 minute 15 seconds. Or just hit your fast forward button once or twice. Did you know that the last residential school in Canada closed in 1996? To learn more, go to nctr.ca and challenge yourself to go beyond a land acknowledgement. Welcome to We Are the ADHD Family podcast. This podcast is meant to chronicle our journey with ADHD, autism, and other discoveries along the way. I reach out to advocates, experts, individuals, and other families that want to raise their voices and empower those on their journey. My name is Mark Smeets. I am married to Siobhan, a parent to 2 wonderful kids, and all of us have ADHD. I want you to feel like you have power and hope. Welcome to the ADHD Club. This is a place where none of us know the address. We just know where we are. We don't know how we ended up here. And we're just going to call this spot the club. Because, hi, nice to meet you. This is something that you can use the next time you walk into a room filled with people and you don't know why you've walked into that room. I hope you're doing really, really well. I thought I would do a quick little follow-up as to the last episode and what sort of happened. Just to recap, if you don't know, we took our son for his Psych Ed at Children's Hospital, and it went relatively smoothly, funny enough. We were there for the whole day, and I was quite nervous, but I don't think he was as nervous as I was. I'm not sure how nervous my wife was, but it was a lot of fun. And before I start talking about the process itself, the really short answer that I want to save you waiting until the very end, we still don't have a diagnosis. And I've just realized something that some of you may not know what a Psych Ed assessment actually is. So the really short answer is that it's a detailed assessment that identifies an individual's learning style and needs. So this is the one that can pick out things like a learning disability, whether it's dyslexia, dyscalculia, or dysgraphia, how you write your awareness of where you're writing on the paper. That's what a Psych Ed basically is. We went in on February 7th, I think it was, and today I'm recording this on March 1st. I'd emailed the hospital to say, when's the report coming? Because the person that we were dealing with said, everything should be ready in about 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, sweet. Okay, that's pretty fast. Good. I can wait for that. But 2.5 weeks goes by and we've seen nothing. So I emailed and asked and I said, when's the report coming? And I heard back from my contact and she said, it takes 8 weeks. Well, then she goes, I replied back to her just saying, we just want the diagnosis. I'm not interested in the report. I mean, not right now. I want it. And she was shocked that we had no family meeting to discuss any of it set up. So basically, here we are just shy of a month out, and we have no idea what the results of any of this stuff are. And I'm still waiting to hear back as to when we're going to have a family meeting set up so we can talk with the doctor and figure this all out. As you can imagine, yeah, we're annoyed. We're really annoyed. I guess it's just par for the course at this point. It's not something that I'm accepting, and I'm glad I asked the question that I did. But come on, I'm just trying to get get the answers I want for my kid. That's it. How hard is this to do? Part of me feels like that meme of, you have one job. Well, yeah, you do. Tell us what the diagnosis is. Anyways, I didn't want you to wait till the end of the episode to sit there and hear this. I wanted you to hear it up front now, and I'll get to the process of what actually went on, because it was a good day. It wasn't a bad day, far from it. It wasn't stressful, but yeah. Well, let's get into that part. When we arrived, we went through our usual thing. By the way, if you do ever go to BC Children's, take advantage of the valet service. They will park your car somewhere on the lot, but at least you don't have to be the one looking for parking, because that's such a massive pain. When you get in there, we did our usual, just, you check in and such. And I brought some examples with me, as I mentioned on the last podcast, and just to bring things that I thought would be helpful, just to kind of keep in the back pocket. Plus the story that I mentioned on the other podcast about the way that Owen and I do math together was also on the forefront of my mind. But we did not roll in with a laptop and briefcase and 2 big massive binders worth of stuff, not like the last time. So we met the main psychologist that was going to be helping us. She was training a resident who was going to be doing all the testing. And both of them extremely nice. They asked what concerns we had. Basically, instead of coloring the waters, I just said that there are things that we strongly suspect, and if we say them now, I feel like it may mess things up or whatever. I don't want to lead what you find and what the results see. But we've got our suspicions, and we'll just go from there. They were happy with that, and Owen went off and did the testing. If you're wondering, well, he's doing testing because we weren't with him in the room, so I didn't get to see any of the tests, which actually I kind of wish I had now. But if you're wondering what you get to do, you get to hang out in the lounge. It's a pretty nice place. We had our daughter with us, and she was playing games and video games and all the toys that were there. So she had a really good time as well. But yeah, I mean, we spent a couple hours there, and I don't know, about 11:30, getting close to lunchtime, the resident came out and he goes, so we're almost done this, and it's gone really well so far. I think the funnier part was he asked us if we wanted to do like the parent interview piece now, or he wanted to do more. We wanted to do some more testing. My wife and I just looked at each other and we're like, testing, please. We can talk enough. That's not a big deal. But the testing part was far more important than what we had to say. I'd rather see the tests administered. So we had a quick lunch break, and we went back to testing, and we were done. Owen was done fairly fast anyhow, and then it came time for the parent interview piece. That was an interesting conversation. We basically started off by talking about what our concerns were and things of that nature. We told them about all the things that we had seen, and this is when both my wife and I began to open up and say, we know we're relatively confident about dyslexia. We're a little on the fence about dyscalculia. We're also a bit more over the fence on dysgraphia, and it just sort of like telling him these things. He's like, okay. And that's when I started to pull out the examples, which made me really happy that I sort of brought what I did, because I started to show him all these things. And he's like, oh, I see how this is this and this is this. And the resident was saying how consistent it was with what he saw with the testing. That was a really good thing to have. And at one point, I basically said to him, and I'm just going to paraphrase myself at this point, but I basically said to him, look, I'm 99.9% sure that this is dyslexia. If this is something else, fine. But for the most part, I want to see the words dyslexia written on the report, ink dried paper in my hand right now, please. So he knew. I think with everything that's sort of gone on, it's like when you know something, you just know something. And this was one of those cases. And his reaction to that was basically, well, I still have to tally up all the test results, but I do certainly find some consistencies with what you're saying, essentially. So the interesting thing, and this is like when someone's asking you a question and you are saying, you're nodding your head yes, but you're also saying the words, no, that's not possible at this time. And that's sort of the impression I got when I started to say these things. Because it felt like we were beating around a bush a little too much, and I wanted to remove that, and I just wanted to have, I wanted to talk about the elephant in the room, so to speak. So he understood where we were coming from, and I said, and the other thing too was that I said, this is why I didn't want to lead you in the beginning of the morning of saying what I think things are, because I don't want that to mess up my judgment or whatnot. But here's what I strongly believe as his dad. Anyways, we finished the parent interview. We actually ended up staying a bunch more hours because there was a really wonderful volunteer there. She is awesome. Her name was Claire. And when you find the other version of yourself, like she was the other version of me. That was really cool. Straight down to music, to theater, to you name it. It was a trip. But what a lovely human being she was. And, my kids were having so much fun playing with the games and with the other kids there. Like, we just hung out. So that was a good break for us, because it's a long drive to go back from the middle of Vancouver back to where we are. It's such a pain in the butt. There isn't too much else that really took place that I could sit there and tell you all the juicy details about, at least at this time. I am a little bit, I've already said it, but I'm frustrated that we don't have the diagnosis. Like, come on. I would like to have the answer before he goes to high school. I'm being sarcastic there, but he's in grade 4. Come on. This is silly. When we get the email, when we get the notification, we'll do an episode in regards to that. And once we've figured out and got all our feelings there. So you're waiting with us. And, it's kind of interesting because you sit there and think about the time for all this and that it's been a month now. And even though I only put the other podcast episode out, whatever it was, 2 weeks ago or something like that, like, this is the thing that parents go through. And it's really frustrating that I think a lot of medical professionals, they're just clueless. Maybe that's the wrong phrase to use. I don't know. But here I've got a kid in school that, I want to see some sort of dyslexia supports for him in school. And we need to know what to do, how we can best support him, and how his brain works for reading and things like that, or writing. But it's not right to make someone wait for this long when we should have at least had an initial sense of what we were doing and had, and could have been doing either more research or something else into this. Like, you're still, I don't know how else to describe it other than using another analogy. So it's like you haven't left Disneyland. Maybe that's the wrong one. I don't know. The only thing that sort of crosses my mind as I record this, that if there was a private option route, then I think we would have known. But because maybe it's the public system, or maybe because this guy's a resident, I have no idea. Maybe that's the reason why we don't know yet. And, we sit there have to push and ask these questions. So it's a little on it's frustrating, to say the least. Just want to help my kid. That's it. Really, it's what it comes down to. That is what happened, what's gone on, and you are now waiting with us. So, welcome to the club. This is what it's like. And, it's, this is where we are right now. I'd say wherever you are in the world, have yourself a good one. Be safe, be kind, advocate, and don't give up on your kids. And more importantly, I want you to feel confident and proud that you are that parent. Because I am that parent, and you're not alone.
Thank you for listening to our show.
If you're hearing this message, you've reached the end of the episode, and for that, I want to say thank you. I hope you have enjoyed what you've heard and are walking away with newfound knowledge.
We are the ADHD family.
See you soon for a new episode. If you want to be a guest on the show or know someone who would make a great guest, contact me through our Facebook page. This podcast is open to everyone. You don't need to be an expert, just passionate and want to see change. The opinions expressed by the host and guest are not associated with any employer or organization unless otherwise stated.